Welcome back to the Tarot and Astrology Forecast. In this video, we are looking to March 2025 and what's coming up. Welcome to back to Haley Jane. It's good to have you here. Um, and we will link all of our channels and everything in the comments below. Do you want to pull a card for like the overall month? I don't know why that came into my mind,
Yeah.
but I kind of feel like
Yeah, I like that idea.
it's coming up for March.
Hmm. Ooh, Ace of Rings. So Ace of Pentacles.
Oh, that's great.
That's so good. Yeah. So this is going to be a really great month for building foundations and planting seeds that are going to bring you to a place of more stability, of long-term growth, of just feeling really anchored in your desired reality, right? It
Mhm.
is a card that brings opportunities, and those opportunities are going to be bigger the more prepared you are for the abundance or the opportunities or whatever it is that is coming your way. So it's going to be a good month for preparation, and also celebrating the tiny moments of progress and achievement along the way, because that's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger as the year goes on. Yeah.
Ooh, that tracks with what's coming up.
Oh,
So
I'm
yeah,
excited.
I love that. Okay, well, we'll dive in. We're gonna start with the first big event of March is gonna happen March 13th. It'll be late on the night of the 13th and into the morning of the 14th, so it's about midnight Pacific time. We are having a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo.
Ooh.
So this is actually the first eclipse that's going to have happened since the nodes shifted. In January 11th, on January 11th, we had the nodes shift into Virgo and Pisces, the north and south node. Um, and this axis of eclipses are going to be going on for the next 18 months across this Virgo Pisces axis. Um, it's we did have an eclipse on this axis happen in September of 2024. So that's when these eclipses started. So thinking back to that time, what kind of themes were coming up for you? Probably events or mindsets or things around creativity, spirituality, anything around being critical or perfectionism, overthinking. Those themes are something to pay attention to, and finding a middle path between the logic of the mind
Mm.
and the desires of the heart. That's a big
Mm.
part of the theme of these next 18 months of the eclipses in the Virgo Pisces axis. And so this March 13th full moon lunar eclipse is also opening the portal, a 2-week portal of eclipses that will be happening in March. So this is the beginning of it.
Mm. Okay. So how long is this middle period going to last?
It'll be about 2 weeks. So it'll be March 13th will be this lunar eclipse, and then we'll have a solar eclipse March 29th, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this video. So yeah, it'll be March
Okay.
13th to the 29th.
Ooh, okay, this is good.
Mhm.
So, the message that I'm seeing when it comes to this in between period that we're going to be navigating
Mhm.
is really, it's like, don't depend on your external environment for the proof that you need. Okay. A lot of the time, and this is so interesting because this is a message that came up for me like a couple months ago that really hit home. And the message is like, a lot of the times we think that when we get blank, that will mean something about us, right? Like once I get that loving, supportive partner, that will mean I am lovable, I'm worthy of love. Once I make $200,000, that will mean that I am financially successful and I'm abundant, blah, 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 right?
Hmm.
So we want to be mindful of that because it puts us in this energy of chasing after something. And it's putting us in a place of like having to rely on something external from ourselves in order to confirm what it is that we know, right? So the trick here and what it's showing me is that you have to be your own proof in the world. You have to know and believe and feel and confirm that you are worthy of love, that you are a successful person, that you are powerful, right? And then instead of chasing after that external proof, not only do you need the proof anymore, but those things kind of find you in the world, right? It's because it's mirroring your energy, okay? So this in between time is going to be a super powerful time for deep reflection and also noticing the things in your life that you cling to in hopes that it's going to prove something about yourself. You know, eclipse season, this is like powerful fucking let go time, okay?
Hmm.
Letting go is going to be a huge emphasis. And so we want to start looking at our energetic attachments to things that strip us away of our power. And this is one layer to that, which is so cool. Also, I'm going to uh mention that I have a workshop in March. It's called Breaking Karmic Contracts. Okay. And what I'm talking about right now is it's like it's a form of contract that we've signed unconsciously for ourselves, right? And so this is a time of shedding those layers and burning those contracts
Hmm.
and you know being independent in your success. So really, really cool. I love that that message came up because it's a really big reminder for me too.
Yeah.
And it's really how the whole manifestation process works, right?
Yeah, and I love what you said. Like eclipses, you will see it in this 2 week period. It's phenomenal when I paid attention to it, like the amount of beginnings and endings that happen, and the reminder of when things have to end before new things begin. So if
Yeah,
during this period something ends that you're not expecting, or there's a completion of something, or something just completely disappears, there is a reason for it, and there is a
yeah.
new beginning coming after it. But you can be guaranteed during this time there is more deaths and births and beginnings and endings and all of it. It's specifically during the 2 week eclipse portal, which always happens in March and around March and September. So this is like you said, it just a very, very powerful time for letting go. It's use the energy.
Mhm.
It's going to be a great one.
Yeah,
And
create
also
the
for
vacuum.
anybody, yeah, exactly. And anybody who, because this one is in Virgo, it's anybody who has personal planets in that house. And definitely if you have your north or south node in this, you're going to be, yeah, you'll be in your nodal return right now. It's look at
Mhm.
your chart. It will be very it would be an intense energy for anyone that has Virgo placements or Pisces placements either. So
Okay,
mm.
cool. That sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have on March 14th, so the very next day, which is kind of going to shake things up for this portal season. Mercury goes retrograde until April 7th, so it'll be there for a couple weeks. And we've spoken about Mercury retrogrades before. It's a lot of miscommunications. There can be delays. There can be technology issues. Sometimes people can experience just a foggy brain. You're not able to think as clearly. What I'd encourage you all to do is remain flexible with your plans. Try to keep an open mind. Try to understand that this energy right now is affecting everybody.
Hmm.
Have patience with yourself, have patience with other people. Kind of expect the unexpected. The one like practical tip I would have people follow for Mercury retrograde is try not to sign any big contracts. wait until Mercury retrograde is over, and ideally until, because this one's happening during the eclipse portal, I would wait until after March 29th to sign any big contracts. Um, if you have to, and there's something that's coming up for whatever reason, I have signed a contract during this time. Um, just expect that there might be like little details that end up being annoying and kind of it's not going to necessarily throw the thing whole off rails, but just know that maybe the process takes longer. Maybe there's some little details that end up kind of dragging on for a little bit. But for the most part, if you're able to try to avoid signing contracts, double check messages and emails before you send them. It's a helpful thing, just slowing down during this time with our communication and being more mindful.
Hmm. Wow. And then that what astrological season are we in for that one?
It'll still be Pisces.
Still be Pisces season. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, yeah. Big message of like, don't let anybody rush you. Okay. Don't let anybody rush you right now. Um, and just pay attention to the things that want to rush you. Okay. And questioning why that might be. The more you slow down during this time, the more grounded, the more protected you will be. And I'm also getting this message of like seeing behind the mask, okay? So whether that is people that you're dealing with, something about this time where you're able to see their true colors, or you're starting to see some cracks in the facade or whatever, and also it can be questioning the masks that you wear in society as well, and how do they really serve you? Um, we all wear masks to some degree, right? Because we're human beings and just part of it. But usually we wear these masks because we want to feel loved, we want to be acknowledged, we want to feel safe in the world, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, sometimes our masks can limit our genuine authenticity and how we express ourselves in the world. And that can create obstacles for us to find the right people, right? So yeah, just this is again going to be a time for you to just reflect, right? Reflect, question yourself, do a lot of journaling, and trust your intuition right now, for sure. Trust your intuition. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great reminder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Haley. I definitely need that reminder. I get impacted by Mercury retrogrades
Mm-hmm.
big time. I
Mm-hmm.
notice it. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Next up, so about a week later, we have Aries season starting March 20th. Which is also going to be spring equinox. We are starting off the astrological new year as well. As everybody probably knows, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. We are starting into a whole new cycle of energy in the 12 signs of the zodiac. So Aries season is obviously it's a fiery ram sign. It's like it's new starts, it's new cycles, it's action, it's let's get things going. Time to take action on your plans. Um, it's a fire sign, so obviously like it's all about leading and going first and leading the way in what's going on. Aries in particular is a very strong leadership sign.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all about like being the innovator, being the person who takes action, and maybe that's you take action and then realize, oh, I have to course correct and move a different way, but it is just action, action, action. Um, and I think it's interesting because this is happening, it's about a week before eclipse season ends or a little bit before it. So I think in what we were saying in the beginning of March, the like kind of thinking, reflecting, noticing where we're at, kind of laying the foundations for things. I think we can be conscious that the energy might be changing and that we're ready to start taking actions. And maybe there are some small actions you can take, but I would still just heed on the side of caution and maybe wait. while we're a little bit further into Aries season to maybe take those steps on those actions.
Mm. Yeah, Aries definitely has like an impulsive energy to it, you know? And I can see that in these cards as well. Um, there's also a message coming through of like repairing your relationship to your inner authority, right? So the card that represents Aries is the Emperor, right? So it's like the divine masculine energy, right? And our view of masculinity in society is extremely distorted, right? A lot of us hold resentment towards the masculine for a lot of things that have happened on the planet. And we're dealing with the patriarchy and there's layers to that and all these things. So like when I say to a person like, trust authority figures, right? Like that's like no fucking way. People aren't gonna look at the government right now, like the world is such a weird place. So because of that, what you can do instead is repair a relationship to our inner authority, right? And that looks like doing what you say you're going to do. It looks like relying on yourself and being a reliable source in the world, right? It comes with this message of like be the change that you want to see in the world, right? If you want people to be more trustworthy, more reliable, more grounded, more, in their power, like be that. Um, and I'm also seeing an opportunity for individuals to, forgive and let go of the times when maybe you let yourself down in that aspect as well. I also have the Knight of Rings. Look how cool these cards are. Can you see
Oh
that? There
yeah,
it is.
there you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that
Oh,
cool?
yeah. That's so
Um, and then Knight of Rings is like someone who works really hard for the things that they want in the world, right? And eclipse season can be incredible kick in the ass, right? And it lets us, really paint a picture of where we want to go and assess what we have to do to make that happen, right? So this is going to be a very deep inner work type of month, and there's incredible rewards and breakthroughs for those who are willing to dive into those deep corners, right? Um, and for those who are not ready, then, that is okay too. You're not doing anything wrong. I'm sure there'll be another opportunity when the time is right.
Mhm.
But for those who are ready to, move some mountains in the year 2025, this is going to be an incredible preparation period for that if you're ready for it. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's so true. So
It's gonna
true.
be it's gonna be a challenge, but the reward is like it's worth it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this month in 2025, this month there's a couple things in June and July and September. Like
Yeah.
the, they're the markers of this year and to pay attention to. Like you said, if you're about making big moves this year, use this energy to your
Yeah.
advantage. Take the opportunity.
This is the shift, right? This
Yeah.
is like this is the jump, right? Yeah.
Yep. Quantum leap. It's what's
Yeah. It
possible.
really feels like it. Yeah. That's good.
And
Yeah.
eclipse energy lasts, like whether it's the themes or the lessons that happen or the cycles that begin, it can be felt for like 6 months afterwards. So, we're essentially in eclipse seasons all the time to some degree because we're always transforming and transmuting and working through things and depending on our own personal planets and how those things influence and impact us, sometimes it's less felt, other times it's more felt, sometimes it's more supportive for certain things and other things. These ones it's transformation is huge, the opportunity for it, and I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to be great.
And I also want to mention like it's normal to grieve also, like when we're shifting identities this drastically, like there's this old self that's wanting to be laid to rest and if that resonates for you, then I would recommend that you incorporate like a beautiful ceremony in honoring the past versions of yourself and giving those parts of you permission to rest and then cry and then grieve and feel and purge and cleanse and get it all out, right?
Mhm.
And then be reborn. Like this is such a powerful rebirthing opportunity, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I needed to hear that. I'm like teared up. I'm
I
like,
know, I'm like emotional.
and Aries is that, right? Like it's the spark, it's the start, it's the like
Ah,
go, it's where things
whew.
begin from. It is the birthing, like it's the first one. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Wow. All right.
Oh,
All right.
okay. And then we got to the end of the month, and this is the real like
Okay.
showstopper. March 29th is going to be the new moon solar eclipse in Aries.
Ooh, okay. March
Um,
29th?
March 29th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's closing the portal of the eclipses, so March 13th to March 29th. But what it's all, and even though it's a new moon, what it's also closing is it's the final eclipse on the Aries Libra axis that has been going on since April 2023. It is closing an 18-month period of the themes of going between hyper independence and codependency and
Mm.
trying to find that balance between those two things of the like the we focus versus the I focus, and where do
Mm.
we find the middle ground for both of those things. It's definitely an eclipse, or an axis of focusing on independence, self-empowerment, courage, authenticity, and while it's the obviously beginnings and endings are really big, this one, and it's a full moon, which normally we associate with beginnings, it's because of the power of it being the end of that theme of the Aries Libra axis, it's going to have a lot of that ending feeling to it. Is sort of my intuitive hit on it.
Yeah.
It will definitely affect anybody with personal planets between 4 to 14 degrees of Aries or any of the cardinal signs. So that one is, and so it also is a big one for anybody who's been going through their nodal return, which is, I have been doing that. So if you have your North and South node in Aries and Libra, this is like we're finishing something really big,
Ooh.
around these themes of finding our own power, standing in our own self-empowerment and our self-worth and courage to stand out from the crowd or be part of community. It's like a balance of the two of them. So,
Wow.
mhm.
The energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
March.
energy.
Yeah.
Such, yeah, endings and beginnings for sure. Yeah, and huge reclamation of power, big rebirthing opportunity. Um, and also I see like a new level of sensitivity, right? So you think about it like when a baby is born, like it's so sensitive to the world, right? So um be really gentle with yourself, right? Reclaiming your power doesn't always mean that you have to be this big, bossy, bold, like powerhouse of an individual. Like, yeah, that's power too, but like there's also power in like reclaiming your sovereignty and you know, honoring yourself despite the shit that society pushes on you and giving yourself what you need, you know, like there's power in that too, right? Um, but we have the sun come out, so that's a rebirthing energy right there, the sun. So beautiful.
Yeah.
And I had the Ace of Wands, so another ace popping out. And this is like beginnings in passion, in willpower, in connection to spirit, connection to your creative expression. Like it's like, can't even talk. It's like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon,
Mhm.
And so give yourself grace as you're learning to fly, Like this is a very new experience for you, and you'll figure it out. You'll get used to it because you were designed for this, right? And the more you realize that and the more you trust and have faith, then it's the more fun it's going to be. But this is a really I'm seeing for a lot of individuals, it's like reclamation of the self, of like coming back home to the self, of being more mindful of what's going on in here rather than all this fucking nonsense that's happening. There's a lot of power in that. It takes a lot of power and a lot of self-love and a lot of focus to not be influenced by all of this stuff that's going on, right? So you got to start recognizing that about yourself because it's uh it's not common as of yet. I'm hoping that will change over time.
Yeah.
But no, it's beautiful. It's another layer of collective awakening. And it's a fresh, clean slate. So let yourself explore, let yourself have fun, let yourself fucking make mistakes. Doesn't matter. You're meant for this anyway. So
Oh, I feel that. I
yeah,
feel
I
that.
feel very like solar plexus right now,
Yes.
like
This, yeah, for sure. This eclipse is that. Yeah. And I like your reminder um of power and authenticity and feeling independent and self-empowerment can be quiet. It can
yeah,
be subtle and it's usually internal. There's not this big blasting out. There can be,
yeah.
and it also exists with and starts for the most part internally and quiet and in subtle ways, and that we can pay attention and acknowledge those things for ourselves, and it doesn't make it any less valuable or worthy or the right or wrong way to do it. It just is.
hmm Yeah, stop making meaning of it too. Just like let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Let it happen.
As I say this as being like the most meaning-making creature on the planet,
Yeah.
Like
It's human, right? We just love to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's March. Those are our kind of the big, there's other things going on. The one thing, actually, sorry, I didn't mention this.
Mhm.
During that eclipse at the end of March, this March 29th one, we will also have Mercury in the same sign. It will also still be in Aries when the sun and the moon are there, and it's going to be retrograde. So
Mm.
it's another time to be like, pay attention to that like self-critical voice with all of this transformation and things going on, because as much as I was saying that Mercury retrograde can be miscommunications, it can also be miscommunications internally. It can be miscommunications and things of
Yes.
like telling myself that imposter syndrome thing of like, I'm not this way or I'm not whatever.
Yeah.
Just be mindful of it. It's a very strong, fiery Mercury and Aries, and being in retrograde and being there with the sun and the moon at the same time. There's a lot of impact of shining lights on that self-critical voice that tells you you're not worthy of this transformation, or you're not that powerful, or you're not whatever.
Yeah, or you're not doing it right
All
or
of it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a really key piece, because that Mercury will be sitting there right at the time for this whole eclipse season, and it'll be there for this new moon one. So it's something to
Mm.
keep in mind.
Yeah, and as you're sharing that, just pulled like a couple extras because the message I
Cards.
get. Yeah, yeah, I can't stop. It's so good. Another message I get is like just be mindful of how you speak to yourself. Be mindful of the words that you choose. Your words hold a lot of power, right? Um, there's also a lot of benefit in just speaking your thoughts out loud, right? Because a lot of the times we don't even recognize we're thinking things. It's
Mhm.
so unconscious, it's so sneaky. And if I'm having a shitty day and I'm thinking about myself, I'm never gonna figure this out. Like this is too hard. Like I'm a loser. Blah blah blah. Like inside, it can be a normal dialogue for a lot of people who are having just a rough day, right? But if you practice saying these things out loud and just hear yourself say it, you recognize the absurdity of it. It's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like if that were true, like. then why is, why is everything so like great in this area of my life? You know what I mean? Right? So you got to catch yourself. You got to catch yourself, and there's tricks that you can use to bring shed more light of conscious awareness on it. Of course, it takes practice and it takes a willingness. It
Mhm.
takes a willingness. Like greatness doesn't come easy, you know? And you're worth doing the hard work that it takes to get there, right? It's in you. So fucking might as well do it anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, completely agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
great.
Mm.
Love it.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And hopefully, this was helpful and you got some interesting insights out of what's coming up for March 2025. And we will link all of our channels below on our websites for the Sacred Jane and for Danielle Egan Coaching. If you want to connect with us, if you want to share this video, please do and support us. We will be back next month with the April 2025 Tarot and Astrology forecast. And we will see you then. Thanks for listening. And thank you, Haley, for being here.
Thanks, Danielle.
Yeah, see you
See you
guys
guys
next
next
month.
time.